I'm so thankful for Dr. Gary Lovejoy and Dr. Greg Knopf because in many ways they saved my life. I'm so thankful for Dr. Gary Lovejoy and Dr. Greg Knopf inviting me to do this video, and since I could do it anywhere, I picked Jazzy Bagels, one of my favorite restaurants to come to with my wife. It's near her work, and have a chance to talk with her over her lunch hour. I was told 10 years ago that because of autoimmune disorder I have, that the day would come when I would be hit with depression. And working with Dr. Lovejoy and Dr. Knopf on this book project gave me a completely new look at what depression is. And for me, I was particularly interested in the work that they were doing and urged them to write their book, Light on the Fringe. Coming alongside Dr. Lovejoy and Dr. Knopf, I came to a completely new understanding of what depression is, and something that my specialist had not told me, which was that God actually uses depression in our lives for good, for His glory. And that sounds very theological, it sounds nice, but the practical thing for me was that I had set up a plan ahead of time what I would do if and when I hit that depressive episode. 2 years ago in April, I hit that depression head on and went from somebody who was an optimist to somebody who was thinking about suicide every day, multiple times. And not only thinking about it, but knowing I could carry that out. And yet, with all of that background, I found I couldn't talk to my physician. I couldn't even talk to my wife about the feelings I was having. And then I remembered what Dr. Lovejoy and Dr. Knopf had said and the powerful message in their book. And that turned the corner for me to get out of this extreme, dark, depressive way of thinking, to talk to my doctor, to get the help that I needed. And within a matter of weeks, God had lifted that depression, because we were able to carry out a plan that had actually been written several years earlier. A few weeks after starting that plan, God in His grace lifted that depression, and I'm committed day by day to continuing to follow that plan. Thankfully, in my case, I made the decision to share my story with my congregation, with my family and friends and others, simply because it illustrates the power of the message that Dr. Lovejoy and Dr. Knopf have communicated in this seminar and through their book, Light on the Fringe. And only a few months after my episode, a dear family friend of mine in college hit depression because of the pressures and different life circumstances at that age, hit depression, was suicidal, knew how to carry it out, and yet remembered my story. Instead of taking her life, God moved her to get the help that she needed. And today she's a happy, delightful young woman, on fire for God, loving life, doing very well in her career. And I am so thankful to God that if my story could help her, it was worth going through in my own case. I hope that through the work of Dr. Lovejoy and Dr. Knopf, that many, many churches and groups will be willing to address this subject publicly, that people like myself will be willing to tell their story, so that depression isn't something that we hide away, but it's something that we're willing to talk about, to share our own stories, if anything, to give hope to others.